As Girl Scouts celebrates its 100th birthday, two local leaders join me to discuss how the organization has evolved over the years and where it's headed. We'll talk about leadership, civic engagement, and more next on UCF Metro Center Outlook.
This program is made possible by funding from the UCF Metropolitan Center for Regional Studies, where government leaders, business executives, and academic experts come together to discuss major issues facing the state of Florida.
Hello everyone, welcome to UCF Metro Center Outlook. I'm Diane Trees, Director of the UCF Metropolitan Center for Regional Studies and your host for Metro Center Outlook. Girl Scouts began a century ago as an organization bringing girls together to grow physically, mentally, and spiritually. Today, the organization's more than 2.3 million members are active in communities while also learning valuable tools for becoming leaders. The Girl Scouts of Citrus Council represents troops in 6 Central Florida counties. Its CEO, Maryann Berry, joins me today. Maryann, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Diane. I am thrilled to be here with you today.
You have more than 25 years of nonprofit experience. What drew you to the Girl Scouts? And I understand you were not a Girl Scout growing up.
No, I did not have the opportunity to be a Girl Scout growing up, but my daughters were Scouts, to include right on up into their older years serving as counselors at Camp McCowey right here in the Orlando area. What drew me to Girl Scouts, I've spent my entire career working with women and children, trying to better their lives. And I cannot think of a finer organization to be the, for all intents and purposes, the sunset years of my career. Had to spend the last 10, 15, however many it may end up being. But this organization embodies what I have believed in and worked for my entire career. So I'm very excited to be a part of it. And I have to tell you, it's actually the best and most fun job ever. I get to play as well as be an administrator, so it's awesome.
So you're seeing the values in what you've learned along the way as an integral piece of what the Girl Scouts presents.
Definitely. We have an opportunity through Girl Scouts to build young women up and have them grow to be strong women, women of strength in our community who are contributing to the business community, the health community, rather than repairing. Most of my career I spent in the repairing end of the not-for-profit business, repairing lives, and particularly women and children who had been damaged. This is an opportunity to get in at the front end and to really help these girls become all that they can be.
So to see their potential for what can be. Well, Girl Scouts are celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. How has it changed and grown as an organization?
Well, it's changed quite a bit, moved along with the time. Some of the earlier badges were related to home economics types of achievements, sewing, and we still have those badges because those are an important part of life, but it has expanded beyond that, and now we have a strong focus on the business end of life. We have the Cookie CEO badge, the financial literacy program, very important.
Well, that's one of the things that the Girl Scouts with cookies is almost a word association, but the learning opportunities for the girls through that, and as you're saying, so financial literacy is one of the new emphasis.
It's a very important emphasis. The Cookie program is the largest girl-led program in fund development because they raise the money to do the things they want to do through this program. But it's an entrepreneurial program. We teach them those basic skills of entrepreneurship, how to plan and make goals, how to work towards achieving those goals. What do you do to improve customer service? And then how do you manage the money and the resources that either the funds you develop through your sale, but also the other community resources around you to enhance your experience and allow you to enhance the community as well.
So they're learning the budgeting, the financial aspects that they will need as a professional in the business world with that.
And just as a a human being, you know, a successful person in society. They will have those skills and those understandings about how to manage their own budgets as well as managing a business budget.
One of the other new focuses is the STEM fields, the science, technology, engineering, and math. How is Girl Scouts introducing or incorporating that in activities for the troops now?
We had 17 STEM teams just this past year.
Now, you say 17 STEM teams from the
Girl
Citrus?
Scouts from Citrus Council, yes. And the girls form a team. It can be within a troop, or they can come together outside of their troops and form a team. And they participate in robotics competitions primarily. And one of our teams, the Robotique, has actually made it all the way up to the state level competition, so we were very proud of them. The girls are exposed to not just the mechanics of science, technology, engineering, and math, but the teamwork aspects of it and how to support each other towards that end goal. And they have a good time with it. We make it fun for them to engage in those very critical fields of the future, hoping to encourage them to follow career paths in those fields.
What kinds of community service then activities? I know that that's another important aspect for the Girl Scouts. What kind of activities do the girls engage in for that?
Well, we just recently, as part of the 100th, each county selected some sort of activity that they would focus on that was either just meant to be pure fun or meant to be community service related. Our girls in Osceola conducted a food drive and gathered 5,000 pounds of food that was distributed to food pantries in the Central Florida area. So they were able to help many families through that. We have girls in troops who gather once a month and go to local facilities for the elderly and sing the Girl Scout songs to them.
Oh, they must love that.
Yes, and they you know, bring a bit of joy and
Yes.
and cookies sometimes as well.
How does this tie in with the civic engagement? Because I understand that there's some very prestigious awards, the gold level award that you give as well.
That is correct, and I'm very proud to tell you that this year, we just had our In Her Honor celebration. We awarded 29 gold awards to girls in Citrus Council. And those civic projects are quite broad in range. We had one young lady who created a food pantry in a community that was underserved. She worked with other organizations in the community to create this resource so that it would be a continuous and renewable
So an actual
resource to that
feasible
community.
plan to go on.
When the girls work on their gold award, they have to work with other members of the community and bring them together, rallying around something that's a community need or that they believe is a need that they identify, and execute that project. And one of the key pieces is we really like the project to be something that can then be carried on, so they're truly leaving a mark.
Or they
in
can
their
even build
community.
on that from what they have. I know the mission for Girl Scouts is to build character, courage, and confidence in young women and to make the world a better place. Do you think the emphasis, though, has shifted from the more broad concepts to reflect more business and life skills?
I think one of the aspects of Girl Scouts that I love the most is that broad spectrum. We do have different areas. There's the cookie program focuses very highly on business and life skills. STEM focuses on building those academic skills. We have health and wellness programs. We're getting ready to start a theater arts pathway for girls who are interested in following up more on their passion for dance and song. So there's a broad spectrum, so that we meet the girl where the girl is in terms of what her interests are, and take those interests and begin to use those to build that courage, confidence, and character, expose them to many aspects, because no matter what you're looking at, be it theater arts, STEM, or the cookie program, those essential life skills, leadership, developing leadership, can be woven through all of those. And by engaging the girl where her passion is and engaging her parents and her family in as well, that's where we really have the opportunity to build that courage, confidence, and character.
There are a number of prominent businesswomen in Central Florida that have been Girl Scouts.
Yes, there are. It's awesome. We just recently worked with the Orlando Business Journal and highlighted some of those women. And an interesting fact around that point is that 80% of all women-owned businesses in the United States, based on a study conducted by the Girl Scout Research Institute, are owned by women who were Girl Scouts at one point in their life.
That's an amazing amount.
It's an amazing amount, and it tells you the power of the movement. We really think of Girl Scouts as a movement, and it's meant to empower girls, enlighten girls, and work towards balance in male and female voices in our society, so that
It's a fluid. Like you said, it's a movement and it's fluid. There are so many activities across Central Florida that young people can be involved with, whether it's academic, athletic. Why would you encourage young women to choose the Girl Scouts?
I would encourage young women to choose the Girl Scouts, because the sisterhood aspect of it is awesome. The girls enjoy each other so much and they build each other up so much. But also the opportunities are broad. We have sports pathways, we have the business aspects, STEM pathways. There are so many different things that we bring to the table as Girl Scouts, as an organization, that these girls can take advantage of.
So something for everybody along in there.
Yes, something for everybody, but really that powerful sisterhood and fellowship. And that I know women who were Girl Scouts together as little girls who are still wonderful friends, and they get together once a year and have a reunion, and they help each other through life's good times and bad times. And
You need that.
That's awesome. That's one of the best side effects, I think, of the Girl Scout movement.
Maryann, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I've been talking about Girl Scouts' growth and change over the past 100 years with Girl Scouts of Citrus Council's Maryann Berry. Now let's take a look at the new role patches are playing for local Girl Scout troops.
I grew up as a Boy Scout, so the scouting program itself, I think, is an excellent opportunity for youth.
I enjoy being a Girl Scout because of all the leadership things that they show and all the activities that we get to do. There's not really another group that can do that.
I enjoy being a Girl Scout because it's a really fun experience to be in, and I learn a lot from it.
It teaches you how to help others and do all sorts of stuff you'll need in life.
It's an opportunity for her to meet other people, other cultures, do different things, go places. It gives her a wide range of opportunities.
You will be the first ever Girl Scout team, since you're the first team in the country, to participate in October in the Walgreens International Dragon Boat Festival at Walt Disney World.
During the week I have a regular job, but now I'm part of a dragon boat team, which is nifty.
We pretty much went through all the procedures of what to do. We went through all the paddle training.
I enjoy activities like that in the water, especially, and I know she does. Having the opportunity to do it with her is great.
Take it away, all together.
When I think about the new badges that are more focused on career entrepreneurship and learning skills that they'll take them for the rest of their life, I think about them building confidence now.
Most people are accustomed to scouting being just the outdoors and arts and crafts and things like that. I think it's a real-world experience for them, and it gives them that opportunity to see that at such a young age.
Girl Scouts helps with technology because you learn what you'll need in the future and what you might do in the future.
It is important for girls to learn that those careers aren't just for men, and there's some glass ceilings still, but we can help them break through that.
All the skills in the world, everybody should have the opportunity to have them all. And Girl Scout is just one way to make it all happen.
2, 3, Girl Scouts!
Carol Wick is CEO of Harbor House of Central Florida and leader of Troop 1361. She joins me today to discuss the role Girl Scouts plays in her life, as well as how practical life and career skills translate to leadership savvy. Carol, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
When you were growing up, I guess there was not a Girl Scout troop close to you, but you joined Campfire Girls. What skills did you learn there that you're using now as the CEO of Harbor House?
I think that what scouting teaches you, any kind of scouting, is a sense of reliance on yourself, pushing you to do things that you didn't think you could do and to take risks. It's also a wonderful way to learn how to set a goal and achieve that goal, and to give back to the community and know just intrinsically how good that feels.
What inspired you to get involved with the Girl Scouts and become a troop leader?
I have a daughter, and I knew how much scouting meant to me. All of my brothers are Eagle Scouts. My father was an Eagle Scout.
So you have a long family history
long
of scouting.
family history of scouting, and so I knew that it was just an integral part of who we were as a family growing up, being a scout. And I know that being able to say that you were a scout later on in life is just a really critical thing, and you learn so many things that do transfer later on in your adult life. I just knew it was something I didn't want her to miss.
Tell us a little bit about what being a troop leader entails. I was never a Girl Scout, so I'm clueless on all of this.
Being a troop leader is a wonderful experience. Girl Scouts is an organization that really pushes the girls to come up with the activities and plan their year out, and the troop leader is really just a guide. So it's a very different experience than, say, coaching an athletic event, because as a Girl Scout leader, the girls are doing the planning and the organizing, and it's just a wonderful thing to watch them grow and learn and do things that they didn't think that they could achieve.
Do you have like a game plan? Do they give you guides to follow or training?
There are all kinds of materials that you can use. They have journeys, and as you progress through a journey, it gives you different topics to talk about and helps the girls accomplish goals throughout the year, ultimately leading up to a community service project that they do that hopefully has a big impact on their community. Our girls this year planned the entire honor ceremony for their service unit. It was entirely girl-led. We had over 200 attendees. It was just a wonderful experience for the girls to be able to accomplish something, and the sense of pride that they had at the end of the evening was amazing.
Do you work then with the girls in choosing the activities that you do? So it's all together.
We do, and the girls raise their own money, so they might want to go and do an activity that's available, and then we sit down and we talk about, well, this is how much it will cost for you to do that activity. Are you sure you want to spend your money that way? And so it really teaches them not only about budgeting, but also about, as a group, having collective goals and being able to negotiate and bargain with the group to get something accomplished.
What's the average size of a troop then?
You know,
Does it vary?
No, it varies completely. I had 12 in my troop this last year, and some troops have 3 or 4, and some of them have 20.
So
just varies.
achieving consensus may be difficult or easy depending on that.
Well, and I think it also depends on the age. I had all 5th and 6th graders, so consensus gets a little more challenging.
Yes. What skills are you using as a troop leader? Do you see similar skills that you're using as the CEO for Harbor House?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of team building that has to go on, and when you're trying to get the girls to set a menu and come up with a plan for a camping trip, it's the same skills really that equate back to working with a team and having them come up with a plan and own it. As a CEO, you have to have a team of managers and employees that really owns the mission and the goal and can see how they know when they've accomplished that goal, and then to celebrate that. So it's the same process that goes on with the girls, and I think the girls are learning that too.
Girl Scouts has a very rich history, but it's changed too to keep up with the times. And some of the emphasis now is more on financial literacy
Right.
and STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and math. How are you seeing that incorporated in some of the things that you are doing with your troop?
I think it's really, really important for girls to learn about financial literacy. And what we have done is really focused on a lot of budgeting skills, a lot of internet savvy, a lot of ability to do comparison shopping. And that's something that you don't necessarily learn unless you have an opportunity to practice it and put it into real life. And they're dealing with real money.
And you're dealing with a nonprofit, so you're constantly looking at budgets and
Absolutely, and we make them really be responsible for that whole process and for the money that they earn. Our girls have a big goal next year. They're going to have to come up with some creative marketing plans and some creative strategies to raise that money that they need to fill the gap over the next few months.
you're going to Washington, D.C.
We're going to Washington,
That's your
D.C.
trip. What is your focus for that trip, and how are you engaging the girls in the planning?
Well, it's really been an interesting process already. They wanted to travel by train, and so we had a conversation about the price of traveling by train versus renting a van and driving up, and staying in a hotel versus staying at, say, one of the universities up there in a dorm, and how much the difference in cost was. And so what they said is, okay, we'll have 2 goals. two different price points, and if we achieve one, we can do the one track, but we need to have a second plan, a fallback plan.
So plan A, plan B.
Plan A, plan B, and knowing how hard they want to work and whether they are able to achieve that goal, and that it's a collective effort. So you can't have one person driving the whole thing. It has to be everybody that agrees upon individual set goals that work toward a collective goal.
What will you be doing in Washington? Are there certain things that you have planned for the girls already?
We do. We have quite a few of activities that the girls have already talked about, that they're learning about. We also are getting into geocaching this next year, which is really great because they learn about maps and landmarks and again, working together as a team and strategy. But a lot of it's going to be about history and having them experience Washington, D.C. as a group and experience some of the monuments and talk about how that affected where they are now, and especially as an experience as a girl in this nation, how the different things happened in this country to give them the freedom to be able to do some of the things that they're able to do.
I was surprised when I was reading that Florida is ranked 4th in the nation for women with business-owned businesses here,
Right.
and that they are growing so rapidly. And I was thinking that might give an opportunity for girls in Central Florida to maybe partnership or mentor with some of these businesses.
Well, and actually, interestingly enough, many of those women-owned businesses are run by former Girl Scouts. And so I think it is a great opportunity for girls to experience that. Take your daughter to work day and only take your scout to work day. Girls need to have mentors so much more now than even before, because they need to see the things that they can accomplish and that there are women in those leadership roles that they can emulate.
Carol, you see things firsthand. How does Girl Scouts impact the girls in your troop? What do you see?
Well, I think what it does is it allows them to have an activity where they feel like they're accomplishing something. School is very intense these days. You know, sometimes kids come home and they have 2, 3, 4 hours of homework at night. There's a real focus on, you know, achieving certain test scores and just very driven during the year. And so I think what scouting does is gives them an outlet. You know, they're out there to have fun. They're out there to learn something that's not in a textbook, but that they can do with their hands, whether it's building a campfire or planning a trip or, you know, doing a community service project at a homeless shelter. All of those things, I think, enrich their lives, and that's really important in this day and age.
You are active in the community, and you're also a business leader yourself. How do you define the value that Girl Scouts brings to Central Florida?
I think people really underestimate the number of hours and the projects that Girl Scout troops throughout Central Florida provide to the community. My daughter alone this summer is going to be volunteering over 100 hours. So just the youth volunteer commitment from Girl Scouts, the thousands of Girl Scouts across the Central Florida area, I think really impacts the Central Florida region in a way that you know, affects our economy to the tune of millions of dollars every single year.
Thank you, Carol, for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I've been talking about Girl Scouts with Citrus Council CEO Maryann Berry and troop leader Carol Wick. Thank you for tuning in to UCF Metro Center Outlook. Until next time, I'm Diane Trees.
This program is made possible by funding from the UCF Metropolitan Center for Regional Studies, where government leaders, business executives, and academic experts come together to discuss major issues facing the state of Florida.